Hello, everyone. It's time for another good word from God's Word. I hope you're doing awesome today. Got a brand new webcam, so it's got a little like fish lens thing going on here. I don't know what that's all about, but hey, here we are. So we've been reading through the Bible chapter by chapter, and we have made it to Judges. And Judges is really one of the craziest books in the Bible. It talks a lot about, this is where you get the story of Gideon, the story of Samson and Delilah. This has a great story about a left-handed warrior named Ehud. As a left-handed person, I'm pretty excited about that story. There's a female judge who leads the whole country, the first female leader that's really mentioned in the Bible, named Deborah. So Judges is just a really interesting book, but Judges, as I've come to learn more and think about Judges in the scheme of the grand story of the Bible and God's big plan story, Judges is actually a tragedy. It has great battles and great people in there, but there's a recurring theme that happens over and over again that says, and the Israelites did what was right in their own eyes. So then, where did this come from? Why did they? And when it says the Israelites did what was right in their own eyes, it usually meant they didn't follow God's law, they didn't do the plans, they didn't do the things that God had set for them. And that really is set up in this first chapter of Judges, in Judges chapter 1. It goes through and it lists how, okay, Joshua has died, and now the Israelites are kind of left to their own devices. Each tribe is out trying to expand their territory, take over, and drive out all the Canaanites, because that is what God commanded them to do. Their job is to drive out every single Canaanite out of the land and destroy it. And some of them are successful and some of them are not successful. And so it says over and over again of how the Benjamites and the Simeonites and the tribes of Manasseh and the Danites, how each one of these people, each one of these tribes, they go almost all the way, but they don't get all the way there. They don't destroy all of them. And this seems like an odd detail. Like, why wouldn't it say this thing or set these boundaries? But remember what God said. God said, take out all of them. And we see the results of this because as the rest of Judges comes in, the Israelites are constantly led astray by these different people groups, the Amorites, the Jebusites, the Moabites. They're constantly led astray by these people by worshiping their gods and doing what's right in them. And by them moving that way, they move further and further away from God. And then eventually, sometimes they even get conquered by these other people. And then God sends in a judge to free them when they return back. And over and over and over again, this happens for hundreds of years with them until ultimately we bring in the king that happens at the end of that happens in 1 Samuel. So that's what Joshua was talking about. So how does this really apply to our lives? Well, what I was thinking about is that when we accept Jesus Christ, when we accept Jesus Christ, we are a new creation. The old is gone and the new has come, and He has freed us from sin. We no longer are slaves to sin. We're no longer caught in the bondage of sin. We're no longer caught in the bondage of sin, and we are now free of that. But those of you who know this is if you had addictions pre-salvation, like you were alcoholic, or you smoked, or you cussed, or even, those are just minor things that like you got bigger things, issues going on in your life. Sometimes just accepting Jesus, that's not an immediate stop right there. I know a few people were never again, never touched it again, but there are other people where it's a constant struggle. And there are even people like myself, I got saved when I was 5. So, but I have developed other sin issues as I grew older and was exposed to more things. And it's okay, I know I'm free from sin, and I know the Spirit can help me get through these things, but I still have to deal with these things. And what happens is, a lot of times Christians do this, and I've done this myself, is that we say, okay, we're done with this, we're pushing this to the side, we're no longer doing this anymore, but we don't completely remove it from our lives. We still keep that little bit of there. That temptation comes into us, and we're maybe I could just indulge just a little bit. It's just a little bit, and before we know it, we have completely we can find ourselves completely enveloped back again in that slavery to sin. And in Galatians 5:16, Paul is writing to the Galatians, and he says, "But I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh." So, like, in order for us to get rid of the temptation, in order, like, God, we're sin temptation. It happens to us. We live in a broken world, but we don't. But we don't have to give into that. We don't have to give into the flesh, is what Paul's saying there. But if we live by the Spirit, so if we're constantly seeking after God, if we're constantly spending time with Him in prayer and in His Word and in fellowship with other believers, if we do as Paul says, the pray without ceasing, if we walk by the Spirit, that's what he means by that, then we are far less likely to fall into the places of temptation, to fall to temptation, and ultimately fall back into sin. And so, how do we get rid of temptation? How do we say that? The truth is that we can't get rid of temptation. But the good thing is, temptation is not the sin. The sin is when we give into that temptation. And how do we conquer that? It's by continuing living by the Spirit, by seeking after God. I had a mentor of mine ask me this one question. He said, "Are you closer to God than you have ever been?" And if the answer is no, then whose fault is that? It's not your spouse, it's not your kids, it's not your boss, it's you. And that was super convicting for me to think about it, because at the time I wasn't closer to God. I had been closer to God before that moment, years before, but not in that moment when he asked the question. And so I knew I needed to do what I needed to. I knew what I needed to do to get back into my relationship with Christ. And as I've done that, I've lived by righteousness. That washing, that renewing, that freedom that comes from the sin is totally there. And it's a journey and it's a process. But that's what this Christian walk is all about. It's about following Jesus and becoming more and more like him every single day. So that's today's good word from God's Word. I hope you are having an awesome week. Just got back from kids camp myself with 14 of our kids. Many of them were baptized in the Holy Spirit, spoke in tongues. They were many kids if they didn't speak in tongues, they had a spiritual experience, felt the Holy Spirit for the first time. It was just an incredible time. Thank you if you were the ones who gave to send kids to camp, and youth camp has similar stories. Thank you for doing that. It was an incredible experience. Be sure to join us tomorrow for the next installment of Road Trip. We got a guest speaker. Pastor Scott's younger brother, Rod, is going to be there. He always brings a great word from our sister church over in Corpus Christi, Texas. So it's going to be a great day. Hope you're doing awesome, and we will see you back here next week or with Pastor Tommy tomorrow. Bye-bye.